Hey.
Oh,
Well, good morning. Well, afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. Could even be good evening. There's already four likes on this, and there's not even anyone watching. I like that. How you doing, Neil?
I am awesome. I guess after yesterday's little prelude, uh, little, uh,
Yeah. A preview, our
we
test.
we hopped on for what should have been 10 to 15 minutes, and we ended up talking away for them in nearly 45 minutes. It was
Hey,
like,
well, it was worth
wow,
it though. It was stuff that needed to be said, so that's all fine. Hey,
yeah.
so quickly before we do get started, there are a couple of people watching. So hi guys, whoever you are, good to see you here. But can you let us know if our sound's okay? I know yesterday apparently my mic was a little bit low, so I've increased that today and I've adjusted the balances between Neil and I. So hopefully we're good. So Neil, can you say something? See if our balance is good. Just talk.
Yeah, tiptoe through the
I
tulips,
said talk,
through the
man, not sing. We
tulips.
don't want to scare them
Oh,
off.
all right. Well, I,
Oh, sorry. Hey guys, so welcome to Under the Rug with Neil and myself, Drew. Um, Firstly, we get the disclaimers out of the way, guys. What we share on this show is our opinion. It's based on things that we've researched, looked at, and think about quite a bit. Really, the show is to try and help people start to think again for themselves rather than think what the government or the powers that be think you should think. Think you should think. So, with that said, what we share is our opinion. We definitely encourage you to do your own research. You always do your own research. It's really, really important that you go out and understand what it is that you're sharing. Neil, well, you did
I
it.
there was a little split second of silence there, but it's like, and I'm hoping that that the signal sort of seemed to drop out with you. I'm hoping that's just you, not your hotspot
Yeah,
connection,
I know. But as I
or
said,
that it's coming
the
from
speed's exactly the same. It might be a slightly different latency, but I should have allowed for that in the settings. But the speed is exactly the same as it was on my Wi-Fi. I'm wondering, well, why I've even got it.
and yeah, and as you did that, it just kind of
Oh, really?
but just I can think from kicking today's show off, is a continuation from yesterday, and why we put this here, why we want to do this. We're doing this out of the kindness of our hearts. There's no bigger agenda here or anything apart from sharing our knowledge and where we see the world is at the moment and where it's heading, and where it's heading is a great space or a great place, but the journey going to get there, we're going to get there, is not necessarily, well, we're in for a bit of a rocky road yet before we can get there. And so being able to bring you guys on the journey with us so that we can all get to the other side in one piece, intact, and being able to, I guess, have this abundance and happiness and health that we should have been having, hundreds of years ago. Um, and so
100%.
there's a lot of stuff going on at the moment on so many different levels, and I guess we don't want to be sort of repeating ourselves, but we do want to have the end journey in play or in focus, and so hopefully we'll be able to bring good information, enlightening information, but there might be a few hard truths along the way where we're going to give you a big uppercut, because we've certainly had them along the way.
Oh, haven't we? Haven't we?
And yeah, but coming out the other side is about having financial abundance as well. That's also been hidden and stolen from us for millennia, probably multiple millennia. So there's all these sort of things that we've discovered in our journeys in this uh, interesting world that we're living in, or what's the word I'm looking for? Is disrupted world that we're living in at the moment. So
Oh, yes.
it's sort of what the plan is to pick a topic, a current topic, I suppose. We'll expand on it with our knowledge there, and what hopefully we can get you. Well, not take up too much of your time. We know that everybody's busy trying to keep the roof over their heads, so I guess without too much more of me rambling on, let's just throw it back to you, Andrew, and bring in the topic that we're going to start with today.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the subject matter or the subject line in this is the cartel, the nanny, and the horse. So I'll let you guys. It's about a particular dossier, which I will link. There's no links or anything in the description of this yet, but guys, there will be. There's also going to be a link to the Rumble channel that we're setting up. So come back, check that. The next video will definitely have it in it, because there's every chance that what we're talking about will have us removed, and neither of us want that. And we're going to try and tread the line the right way so that we're not. But hey, in this world, it's ridiculous what's going on. But the cartel, the nanny, and the horse. So in New Zealand, 2018, there was a massive drug bust. Massive drug bust. Yeah, the media downplayed it a lot, and I think the cops did too, because I'm pretty sure that it was a bit more than what they're suggesting. Only 750 grams, which is not even a kilo of cocaine. But I suppose that's still quite a bit. A kilo's a bit. I've never seen it, so I know what a kilo feels like. A kilo is a kilo anytime, right? But
They probably missed a couple of noughts out.
yeah, I think so too, because apparently it was found on someone's yacht. It was found on the nanny's yacht. So what we've got today is I want to sort of take a little bit of a look at the dossier, and just in case you guys haven't seen it yet. So the first part of it that I want to bring up, I'm gonna bring this up so people can see it. I'm gonna read something from it. So bear with me for a second. Okay, we don't need that on there. So here it is. It says
and what
go. Say.
What you're showing here is in the public domain. It's not documents that aren't there to be viewed. They're there for everybody to see. So they're not going to show it probably in mainstream media, but it's out there for everybody to see. So it's what Andrew's sharing right now.
Well, that's if we look at this, it's got IPCA complaint, Proton Mail. Now it's an email that was set up specifically to try and remain anonymity. Retain anonymity, and you can see here it's got the attachments that's listed in it, etc. But what I want to highlight is some in the New Zealand media are aware of this story, and they've had the information for a couple of weeks, but are unwilling to report anything that would reflect poorly on the Prime Minister. Which then leads to the question: well, okay, if that's the case, why? What does the Prime Minister have over the media in New Zealand for them not to want to report that? I mean, isn't it a journalist's job to report what's going on? And if there's something untoward happening, if and I don't know for sure, okay, but if the Prime Minister's partner was arrested and was up on charges, wouldn't that be a journalist's job to report that? I mean, seems to me it would be. I thought they were meant to cover the corruption, not cover it up.
The media. I mean, Christ, do we really want to start there with the media? Am I doing this? That's why we're here. Well, that's why we're here, isn't it?
That's exactly it. Citizen journalists.
Them reporting or lack of reporting, or told what they can and can't report. I mean, we just don't know the ins and outs of that. But I mean, to get the ins and outs of that, or the core of that, then what we're probably looking at, and the old saying is follow the money. So I mean, when you're talking media, so who funds the media, right? And then and who funds that company and who funds that company? So you follow the money trail, and then there's your answer right there. It doesn't, but
it's funny you say that. And unfortunately, I can't put this up on the screen. I can when we're on Facebook Live, but this won't let me do it. But Andrew Daniels went, follow the money. Newsreaders are sharing what the owner, the funder of the new network, want them to share or read. And that's bang on. Bang on.
Yeah. And of course, that's, I've seen clips, and some of you might have seen similar clips. And it starts with one newsroom, and it's saying whatever they want to say for around the planet, or whatever's going on at that time, some agenda they want to get across. And then it goes to the next channel, and then the next channel, and the presenters, they're different, but they're reading the same script, and it just goes bang. By the time that the clip's finished, the whole screen is covered with literally everybody in sync saying the exact same script.
Yeah, that's not talking about the Mockingbird media.
Yeah, it's a Mockingbird. So you brought up another word there. I'm not sure if our listeners understand the mockingbird, what that's all about.
True. Well, hey, give us an indication in the comments, guys. Do you understand what we say when we're talking about mockingbird media? If not, we'll dive a little deeper into that. But going back to this dossier here for a second, I've got a few other things highlighted. But basically, the guys or the crux of this dossier is that somebody has put in a complaint that they want to have this investigated thoroughly, and there's inside the complaint. And guys, again, I'll link the dossier in the bottom. You can go have it and read it. It's been shared around on social media quite a bit already, anyway. But basically, it's a member of the public that's come forward and gone, hold on, I want this investigated because I believe there's some corruption here at the highest levels. I believe that the police commissioner is in on this, and because he was in on it, he's now got a cushy job. He received a cushy job with the COVID response team, which is highly paying, which actually I'll go straight to that and show you why that's important. Here it is. So if we see here, corruption and bribery of a law enforcement officer, Crimes Act 1961. Every law enforcement officer is liable to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 7 years who corruptly accepts or obtains or agrees or offers, accepts, attempts to obtain any bribe from himself, her, or any person of any act done, omitted, or done or omitted by him, her, or his an official capacity. So basically saying that any official that's omitted something, said something, or done something untoward for a bribe, then they're liable for this. A bribe means any money, consideration, office. Okay, office. That's an important one there because he got a cushy job after the after the back of it. So you can see that the people are named in here, but basically what the commissioner did was say that he wasn't a subject of the investigation, but he omitted certain things, and it's all here in the document. You can go and read for yourselves. As I said, we love to have you research for yourself. He omitted saying certain things that would implicate the person. Now, there's a question that I've got for everyone. Who's seen Clark in the last 18 months? Anyone? Anyone at all?
I would say only those that wear striped clothing,
Or
black
orange
and white.
jumpsuits.
Yeah, those ones. That side of things. It's like, wow, but it's corruption at the highest level.
100%.
and
100%.
the dossier shows that, and through being basically go and do your own research, which is what we're all kind of being asked to do right now, and to help wake ourselves up. That sort of information is not normally available in the public arena.
No, not at all.
So how is it available, and how are people not jumping up and down, or what's the left side or the right side saying about this, or are they still saying nothing?
Well, I think something we've got to remember in there is that the left side and the right side, or the left wing and the right wing, are parts of the same bird. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really the crux of everything that's gone on in the last 18 months, last 30 months, and something we probably need to be looking at. I mean, and I'm just going to come back to this document for a second here.
Are you sharing that? Because I can't see it from my screen. I meant to be sharing it.
No, that's all right. Yeah. You, if you're watching the video, you'd be able to see it, but everyone can see it, which is fine. But it says the real question and focus of any media should be that a complaint has been made, accepted, and is under investigation. Now, why do I bring that up? I bring that up because obviously it's been made, it's been accepted, and it is now under investigation. So they're taking it seriously, or the cops seem to be taking it seriously, right? Certainly at the lower levels. If that's the case, that is the media's job to report on that. The public have a right to know why, or that there is, in fact, an investigation, or that there's been a complaint about that because of potential skullduggery at the highest levels. Now, in New Zealand, I'm led to believe, and you'll be able to back this up and corroborate it, maybe not, but maybe not, because I know you don't watch the news, Neil, but it's been said in New Zealand that the media are already starting to talk about the horse resigning. Now,
Mm.
That's because this is actually now made it into public. Now this is from 2018. It was the complaint was sent in 2020, so that's 2 years ago. They tried to get it in there before the election, because if the public knew this before the election, she never ever would have been elected. I'm not sure how she got elected to start with. Maybe New Zealand had Dominion voting machines. I don't know. But can we talk about that? No, we talk about that after. But what I'm getting at is this was deliberately held from the public, and if the public knew about it, it's the media's job to report this sort of shit to the public.
Yeah.
That's what they're for. They're meant to be. They're not meant to be the lapdog. That's a socialist or a communist regime for them to be the lapdog of the state. They're not supposed to be. I remember when I was in the military, and I being a responsible Kiwi, I used to watch the news. Right, I refused to watch Channel 1 because of how freaking one-sided it was. That was when Helen Clark was in. That's when I was serving. Right, I started watching 3 News. They're just as bad, but they didn't seem to be as in your face as bad as Channel 1. But now I can see that they're just all corrupt. There's no good in any of them.
Yeah, well, it comes right back to following the money, doesn't it? And who pays for these media services, or whatever they really are.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just,
that probably segues us into another good point about media. Should we show that video?
yeah, go on then.
Hold on. Oh, stop. Let's get up here. I'll see if I can. I might have to. I'll see if I can share this, guys. Nope, that's not it.
There's, I guess it's always great when we're not actually live, that we could sit and play these things and have a bit of a giggle and watch come out. But it's like there is so much awesome content out there.
I know you can hear that. Sorry, I'm still trying to. I think what I'm going to have to do is just do it this way. And when I go share, nope. There you go. I'll try and make this look. I don't think I can make it any bigger, but just have a look at this, guys. Oop, press the right button.
This is just too funny. This lady's here, and then there she is. and this man.
So this guy
is here.
The same shirt.
Where is he? He's here, and then he's here as well.
You can see some of these look fake as
hell. So my favourite one is this lady who is in front of Tao, who is behind Tao, but just doing the same face. So they're quite literally doing the same face. I just don't understand. Why didn't they change their costumes? At least take off the accessories, man. Like, what?
Oh, I just think that's too funny.
But that's just a snippet of, well, that's just a snippet of the skullduggery that goes on.
100%. 100%.
It's and of course people who aren't awake to that they would have looked at that and it just would have just skimmed straight past them. Wouldn't have recognised a thing without being prepared to analyse it. They just believe what they see in front of them.
Yep.
It's crazy, and that's done on so many different levels. Not just at what you've seen there, but across the board. Pictures from outer space and stuff like that. The clouds changing around the planet, cut and paste. I've seen so much stuff. Unbelievable.
So coming back to our document for just a second, guys. I keep doing that. Sorry. There we are. The question remains prompted by police. What prompted police to make the media release that they did? Now, remember, guys, this is going back a couple of years that they did it. What pressure was applied to the police and by whom? Now, inside this document, I mean, on the face of it, clearly it shows the organisations were complicit in this, right? That's what they're saying. That's their basis of this argument that has been accepted, right? That is now under investigation, supposedly. Unlikely to be just a coincidence. But what Yeah, New Zealand media have an important part to play in keeping New Zealand free of bullying and manipulation from the state. I'm not sure how that's worked out over the last couple of years. But there's a person in question with this. This is a guy was apparently a Hell's Angel. He came into New Zealand illegally in 2003. So he would have been 13. He would have been with his parents, but entered New Zealand on a false identity because he's only 33, or he's 33 at the time, so he might have been 15. Might be 15 now. But, they were looking at deporting him. And all of a sudden, after all this came out, they're not looking at deporting him. Who does he know at a top level to keep him safe in the country? Or what dirt does he have on someone that keeps him safe in the country? I mean, these are the questions that the media should be asking and should be putting out every night for people to see. It's crazy.
That's that's why we want to do all these podcasts, is to highlight the anomalies out there that aren't right and need to have the extra questions asked. And so we're asking it here today and helping you guys understand that everything isn't as it seems, and why not?
Yeah.
I take this whole dossier to another level though, and it's like, so yes, we're questioning the media and a government's ability to control what the media or what happens. There's a cover-up, theoretically, what's going on here, but to move it through to the next phase is through the legal system. So then it's like watching it go through the legal system and how that flows, because there's just as much, if not more, corruption in there on a global scale, and that's like, who's paying them, who pays them, where does all the money come from?
Yeah.
And what do these guys have to do? And you're seeing that across all legal fields,
yeah,
and in all different jurisdictions around the world.
100%. And I mean, no one's come back and said yes or no about the Mockingbird media. So let's just have a little bit of a dive into it anyway. So back in it was the 60s, wasn't it, where the CIA started their Mockingbird media sort of trial. So they were literally using mind control tactics, and they were testing it through. I mean, there's a whole heap of theories around this as well, which we can explore. But they were you testing their mind control techniques, and they were using it through the Live Vision, which if you look up at the patent of a television, is literally a mind control device. It's literally what the patent says. You can't make this shit up. But what they're saying is that all of that media gets all of their information from a central point. That's why they were able to say all the same thing, and that's why that video ends up with women, 100 different newsreaders, all in sync, saying the same shit. So it's been controlled from a very, very high level. I mean, that's obviously we're talking about the US, the CIA, but realistically, they're everywhere. Yeah, exactly. Andrew Daniels television programming, exactly. But they're everywhere, aren't
they? Yeah. You can break the word television down to tell, lie, vision.
That's it. Yep.
Lie being the underlined part of that, the words there.
But there's definitely heaps going on.
Yeah, I haven't watched. I from where I'm at in the bigger picture of things, I don't watch the news. Ever since sitting there as a young teenager with my grandfather in Wainui-a-Mata, and he'd sit down and watch the 6 o'clock news, I never ever saw any positivity really coming out of the news until we got to the sports section. That was the part that I looked forward to in the news, and it's like it's just got worse and worse and worse, and to the point now I haven't watched it for probably 6 or 7 years now. There's just nothing worthy in there. It's just negative, and it's like, that's not me. I'm a positive person.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I guess sort of, this is sort of, so a lot of the sort of dossier and this part of sort of the research. Yeah, Andrew shared that with me when we started. I didn't want to delve into the nitty gritty of it, because it kind of starts, for me, it's the negative side of things. How do we bring a positivity out of this and positive moving forward? Yes, we're sort of helping people become more aware of the MMS and what their role is, and that's, and looking for the follow the money system as to who's funding that and what their purpose is, and how far up does it actually go?
Yeah.
And
I guess there's another side to that. I think you meant MMS. That's the miracle mineral solution. I think you meant MSM, mainstream media, right? But there's another side to that as well, and you've only got to go back to World War II to see that. Now, there's been things deliberately fed to us, in fact, in some cases, without even our knowledge, right? And if we actually knew and understood what the components were and how they worked and how they affected our body, particularly our pineal gland, our third eye, I'm thinking of a fifth wheel on a truck, our third eye, then we would protest against it. And guys, I'm guessing that most people here on this call at the moment probably do know. And that's, of course, the fluoridation of the water has been one of the poisons that have been continually fed to us for years. Now, Goebbels said back in World War II, fluoridate the water, you can tell them anything. They become docile and they'll believe exactly what they said. And that's why there's a lot of people fighting, and I didn't understand it when I was younger. A lot of people were fighting against fluoridating the water. If you knew what fluoride was, it's a byproduct. It's a byproduct of it's a nuclear waste byproduct. Why would we want to be voluntarily putting that in our body? Oh, because it gives you stronger teeth. Does it though? Where did you learn that? Is that because an ad told you that? I mean,
I saw a post just yesterday or the day before, and they're putting Florida in baby formula or something, but at an age where babies don't even have teeth, right? So that kind of like that takes the whole good for your teeth right out the whole thing. But here's a bit of I grew up in a place called Wainuiomata out of Wellington, a suburb out of Wellington, otherwise known as Nappy Valley for those that are familiar with the area. But my grandfather lived out the back of Wainui, and there was a cut through his property, or a road through the property up to the Wellington Regional Water Board. And so once a week, there would be a big articulated truck go out there with this massive blimmin' steel canister on the back of it, and it had this great big skull and bones on the side of it. This toxic chemical going up there. Well, that was a fluoride. Yeah. Every week there's a whole massive canister, and it would have easily been 4 or 5 meters by a meter and a half in circumference on the back of this truck to go into the water. Now, I had no idea. We kind of think that water needs to have chlorine in it and to be cleaned and all those sorts of things. But when you actually do the research on the effect of fluoride on the pineal gland, it calcifies it. And when the pineal gland's calcified, like Andrew said, it's our third eye. It's where we get all our dream state from. It's where we sort of get our connection through to the higher realms of what we're meant to have access to. So a massive way of keeping us dumbed down, and so that we don't question anything. We'll just accept it's crazy, just to what levels that have been, that the extremities that they've gone to keep us quiet and to shut up and do as we're told on so many different levels. 100%. Education, food, what we're attacked on every level.
Tracy Ward's just given exactly what I was looking for before. Fluoride is a byproduct of aluminium. They did a dodgy saying to the government, saying it was good for your teeth, and you're right. That's they lied about this. What else are they lying about? They've been lying about the term they've been using in the last 18 months is safe and effective. Well, that's a freaking lie as well. Just. Hey, but coming back to something you said, Neil, you said about we spoke about it yesterday real briefly, And yeah, yesterday, guys, it was our test phase to see if this was get our settings and everything right. Kia ora, Carmen, how are you? So coming back to what you said yesterday, we touched a little bit on health and diet. Diet's not just what you put in here; it's also what you put in here. And I know mine's been real piss poor in the last, both here and here, for the last little while. But I've got myself out of it because I realised something. Okay, now this for anyone out there that's been feeling a little bit depressed about all the bullshit that has gone on, because you know better, right? Because you know the truth of what's happening, and we said it yesterday. It can be depressing as all hell. Understand this: no one is coming to save you. That's a realization I had to make for myself as well. And when I finally started, and I have to thank you, Neil, when I started taking this product that's got glutathione on it, and started doing some scalar healing technology here on the Gold Coast, my mind got clearer again. And it's only been the last 5 weeks that I've been able to get myself out of it. No one's coming to save me. I have to save my damn self. Now, it's all good and well, and it comes back to something else that I said yesterday about whether Q is real or whether QAnon. There's a distinction there, guy. Q and QAnon. Q is not necessarily affiliated with QAnon, right? QAnon's supposedly go and they decode all the Q drops that were placed. Now, I believe Q's real, okay, personally. There's a lot of high-ranking officials in the US on the Republican side that quote what he's, the drops and things. So there's a lot more in it than what we're led. Now, there's a whole heap of shit going on in the States at the moment where they're trying to give a black name, or tarnish, that's the best way to put it, to tarnish what QAnon's is. They're a right-wing fringe extremist group, which is bollocks. But coming back to what I was saying, it doesn't matter whether that's real, false, or not. What I said yesterday is, if you believe it to be, and if enough people believe it to be, the collective consciousness comes together and does create that. And it's the same as, no one's coming to help me, but at the same time, if I start helping myself, if I change my outlook, then others can start to help themselves. And when that happens, that collective comes together, and that's when someone's coming to save us, if that makes sense. Like, you don't understand what I'm saying, Neil?
Yeah, I mean, to bring that into one big bubble, it's frequency. Everything is frequency. And so if you look at what you're putting into your mind, what you're putting into your mouth, and if you look at the frequency, if it's the wrong frequency and it doesn't resonate with us, then it's not healthy. It's not healthy for us. And if you go into and look at the work statistics in health, the health statistics, you'll find that the biggest cause of ill health is stress. And we're stressing our bodies through being around the wrong frequencies. Now, these phones here, on the back here, I've got something to protect me from the EMFs. We are just bombarded on every level through our food. If you think about the food that you're consuming, what's the frequency of it? So a lot of the green, vegetable, rabbit type stuff. I mean, just look at rabbits. They eat a lot of green stuff, and they breed like, and it's like it's a higher frequency. Sorry, I probably took that little down a step. But
hippos eat salad too, and look at the size of them. just saying. Lions eat meat less than
But your frequency is everything. But you said a word just before, which is massively important in our body and how it functions, is glutathione. And it is prevalent. There's over 9,000 peptides in our bodies. And glutathione is a peptide in and of itself. But all the other peptides cannot function without glutathione. Glutathione is like a master peptide that helps our bodies function and detox and do all sorts of things. So the stuff that you're taking actually gets into your brain and clears that fog out of there, and allows you to process the energy that we're putting in a much more coherent way that allows you to function and actually be happier about what you're doing and moving forwards. Everything else is a lower frequency, is just keeping us down and dumbed.
But being happy consciously.
Yeah.
Consciously. Because we can still be happy unconsciously, right? We get a hit of dopamine from getting likes on posts or watching something on TV or watching sport, right? We get that hit of dopamine. We can be happy.
Mm. Well, there's simple ways of doing it. And it's as simple as taking your shoes and socks off and going walking on the grass.
Yes.
Reconnecting with Mother Earth. And if you do your research on that, you'll see that we beat on the same frequency. We're aligned on so many different levels. It's like, wow, and like I've read stories where mothers have struggled to settle their newborn child, and they've held them in their arms and taken their shoes and socks off and walked out into the grass and into nature, and the child has calmed down. It's just bringing that connection and that energy in. It's amazing. It's amazing when you learn these things.
Absolutely.
These and even just when you and I did a lot of talks a few years ago, we traveled around doing live stuff.
Did a couple.
And if you think about when we did these courses, the first day was always the toughest.
Yes.
And it was the toughest because we had a whole room full of brand new frequencies or energies coming into the room.
Yeah.
And by the end of the third day, everybody was aligned. Everybody was happy in the energy. It was a high energy.
100%.
And one of the toughest ones we ever did was when there was 100 people in the room. Man, that first day I could have gone home.
Oh, you could have cut the air with a knife.
But the last day, and when we had everybody aligned and on the same frequency and the same energy, that whole room was like walking on air. It was just such a massive feeling. And it's energy.
100%. And the thing you say about that, I've always said and maintained that music is the universal language, right? I mean, music transcends language, always, wherever you go. You can be in Germany and hear an English song and Germans sing it. You can be here and hear a German song and we sing it. Like Rammstein is a band that I listen to occasionally and I like their songs. I don't need to know what the lyrics are. They sound cool. I like it, right? Cool, whatever. Same principle. I remember doing an event in Malaysia, and I've got a habit of speaking pretty quickly, particularly when I get excited. And throughout the entire first day, I was like, "Oh, you guys, look, I'll do my best to slow it down over the weekend." And da 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 da. I didn't change a damn thing. But by the end of the second day, people come back, "Oh, you're so much clearer now." Right? It transcends. Energy transcends the same thing. So it's quite interesting that you bring that up. Quite funny. Cool. Hey, here it is. Let's have a quick look at this, bro. See if I can share this. Share the right thing. Yeah, there it is.
Multidão embaixo de chuva, mas é uma verdadeira multidão em frente ao Comando Militar do Leste. Essa imagem você não vai ver em lugar nenhum. Imagens exclusivas da Record TV, só o balanço geral mostra para você. Multidão embaixo de chuva, mas é uma verdadeira multidão em frente ao Comando Militar do Leste. Essa imagem você não vai ver em lugar nenhum. Imagens exclusivas da Record TV, só o balanço.
Anyway, why do I share that? In case you don't know what's happening, when Brazil had an election a couple of days ago. And what happened, Neil?
Well, there was a 1-point win to, I guess, the unfavored president, or not the one that the people voted. And what you're seeing is the people standing up and showing they're showing how unhappy they are, that it's not right. And the thing is, and as you read through what everybody's talking about here, they've actually got the military coming in and start to do a proper recount. So there's military, I wouldn't call it intervention, but assistance in going and looking and making sure that the right result has been created. Now, really, really interesting, the fact that this is coming up only days before the midterms in the US. So
100%.
There's a lot of controversy and a lot of conversation, all sorts of different things happening on that space over there. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see just how, if that has a reflection and puts more eyes on what's going on in the US in the next couple of days.
Yeah, totally. So I'm just sharing a graphic, Neil, the one that I shared with you the other day. This shows everybody, it's Bolsonaro and Lula. You can see that he's won pretty much all the regions except one. Now, that one particular region that they've got at the top, there's a piece that you guys can't see. It says Bolsonaro won every region except for the most corrupt region run by criminal cartels in the same region where they were caught on video buying votes for cash. So, we can take that and go, well, clearly there's some corruption going on there. Now, Bolsonaro has said that he will follow the Constitution. He hasn't conceded the victory yet, but he'll say he'll follow whatever the Constitution applies for. Now, what you may or may not realize, guys, is that this has been they thought about this. They had the military watching this the whole time. Same things, believe it or not, the same thing happened in the US election in 2020. So all the evidence is there. They already know. Why have we been allowed to play out this last 2 years? Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's to catch some bad guys. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't been able to work that out myself. I got my theories. I just shared one of them. Some things don't make sense anymore, but hey, that's kind of where we're at. But I wouldn't be surprised. There was an election here, I think it was earlier this year in Australia, and I'm pretty sure that was rigged too, because none of the independents got a lot of the votes. Now, a lot of the independents here in Australia were going, no, we're gonna tackle this, we're gonna tackle that. They didn't even get a show, and there was a whole heap of different polling booths where they weren't following the Australian Constitution. They didn't have the writs, they didn't have the things there that they needed to be an official polling booth. So really, really interesting what's happening with that. I think what we're seeing, and I said this to you yesterday, Neil, and funnily enough, I had another conversation with somebody else as well about the same thing. I think this is going to be the catalyst. I think this election in Brazil is what sets it off, personally. What do you think?
Well, if you've did you go and watch the documentary that was put out called 2000 Mules?
Oh yeah, I saw it. All right, man. If you're not questioning the integrity of the election after watching that, you are well and truly asleep. 100%.
Yeah, and so you'd have to kind of, after taking that on board, that documentary, and I think those two people have been incarcerated or just arrested just recently for. I think I've read something about that. It's something I'm going to do a little bit more research on. But if that's happened in the US and it's been caught on camera, you would have to expect that you're going to have similar information in any of the other countries that the voting systems have been happening, and if the right people have been following these countries and the elections and all the negativity around wins and losses,
yep.
Then you'll know that there's some bigger eyes watching this, and there's stuff going on behind the scenes that we just couldn't fathom.
Yeah, 100%. It's interesting. There's something else that I wanted to cover off on, but I think something more important that's at the front of my mind is that it's really important. This is something I don't believe that the majority of people fully comprehend and understand. The government is supposed to be our elected officials. They're supposed to do the bidding of the people, not some unelected bureaucrat billionaires that hang out at Davos at the start of the year every year, right? They're not there to perform at the behest of them. They are there to perform for the people in the country. So if there's shit going on that you don't agree with, then you need to speak up. And I love what Ricardo Bossi's doing here in Australia. He's called that the women. I'm pretty sure the Governor General's abandoned his post here in Australia. He's like, see ya. When we went down there in February, he was nowhere to be seen. But the Governor General, same in New Zealand, and I've seen some protests in New Zealand. I've seen some people hanging out at the Governor General's gate. Good for you. Keep doing it. they have the power to dissolve the government. And if enough people actually realise that they have the power, and they'll tell you what, the elites are absolutely shit scared that people will realise that they do have that power currently. Right?
But
we need to come together to dissolve the governments, because they're meant to do our bidding, not everyone else's bidding.
the part that I really struggle with, and when it comes to politics and governments and stuff like that, is they're a corporation, right? And everything's incorporated, and I'm like, I don't really resonate with that. I'm not, if I go any voting system in my life, and to be honest, I've never really voted. It's something that's never really resonated with me. But as I've sort of learned about corporations, and that, view a corporation as a company, somebody runs the company, somebody's in control of that. So even if you're the CEO of that company, i.e. the president or the prime minister or whatever, you're just at the head of the face of that company.
Yep.
Somebody else is pulling your strings. So it's like, doesn't matter whether it's the left or the right gets in, it's still the same corporation, the same name, it's still the same. So you're really just a puppet to the people above it. So that whole existing system just has never resonated with me.
And there's a reason for that, is because it's not the true and correct system. I mean, it's the fiction. It's the fiction. I mean, I'm sure people here know that we're talking to now that the corporation of the United States of America was bankrupted. They no longer exist. So there is a resident at the White House. He's not the president of the United States. I don't believe if you follow that and look at it, it was bankrupted. And look, most of these bankruptcies throughout history have been manipulated, created for the opposition, or the bad guys, the cabal, the black hats, whatever you want to call them, the elite, to take control. That's exactly what happened with the Federal Reserve in 1913, right? The Federal Reserve Act. It was they designed a recession so that they could step up and go, well, we need to take control. And then they stole everyone's gold as well to do it. Whitlam did it here in Australia. He literally sold Australia to the United Nations. People don't know about that. People don't understand about that. Similar things in New Zealand. Yeah. Anyway.
Touchy thing. There's touchy things even when you talk about here the Treaty of Waitangi. I'm not even going to touch that. I'm not even going to go near there, but because it would be so controversial. But
absolutely.
And and there's so many people from the left and the right that have their own opinions on that. But the original people that created that and signed on that document potentially had the wool pulled over their eyes with sort of false promises and all sorts of bits and pieces. So, but I'm not one to research into the depths of that, because that could be a whole career just on that one thing alone.
People make so many.
Yeah, exactly. It's like there's so many. I mean, for me, and since being down the rabbit hole since 1995, and it's been like putting this massive jigsaw puzzle together. And if any of you guys are sitting in a room, whatever size that room is, the jigsaw puzzle is probably 2 or 3 times the size of that room, with little pieces like this. And it's like, that's probably just with the current history that we have, not the lies that have come before any of that.
Yeah, 100%.
Trying to put this thing to get you, and trying to just navigate our way through this existing realm that we're living in. And it's fascinating, frustrating, but exciting at the same time, as the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle come together, and it sort of shows us where we're going.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what's coming off of this.
There's good things coming, which we sort of covered yesterday. Hey, just before we get too far away from the subject we were on, Sam Carger is watching, and he said he was a scrutineer at the last federal election here in Australia. And he saw multiple errors on how votes were counted. Nobody would have counted them correctly if he hadn't been there to speak up. The people counting the votes didn't even know that the system actually works. They're just there for a job. And then he also said what I was talking about before with Golf Whitlam selling Australia to the UN. is the Lima Agreement. If you want to go and search the Lima Agreement, it sort of spits it out. But, while we're talking about the UN, you probably hear a lot of talk about Agenda 21, Agenda 30. And if you look at what's happened in New Zealand and Australia, or anywhere in the world, I mean, the US was almost fait accompli until Trump got in and brought everything back. But if you look at what's happened in Australia, we've shut down all manufacturing, right? There's no cars built in Australia anymore. There's not even a Holden brand anymore, which Holden was an Australian brand that General Motors purchased and went, well, that's a good brand. We'll fill that out here. That doesn't happen here. There's no manufacture of anything great here. We export pretty much all of our shit. Same in New Zealand. There was car manufacturing in New Zealand, on license, but there was still car manufacturing there. When we look in Victoria, there's literally thousands or vehicle plants where thousands literally did employ thousands of people. They sent that overseas for cheaper labor. That's part of the Agenda 2030 is like, well, let's take these great prosperous nations and essentially make them third world while giving all their jobs to third world countries to bring them up. And supposedly it's sold under the equality banner of going, well, we bring these up so they're the same level. That's not how it works. Everything finds its own level, like water. Water finds its own level. So all the bullshit they've done, they've pulled the wool over a lot of people's eyes just with doublespeak and with particular verbiage. Everything in the way, and language is everything. I've said that to you before. You've heard me say that. You've heard me say it on stage, Neil. Is that think of what you're saying or what is being said to you. I mean, you can say the same thing in a completely different way, and it has a different meaning psychologically. So if I said, I'm talking about me personally, right? Oh, I don't want to be fat anymore. My brain hears, you're fat. But if I turn it around and go, you know what, I should get out and do some exercise and go for a run or go for a walk or whatever, then my brain goes, we should get out and go for a walk. Now I've essentially said the same thing about myself, but I've said it in a completely different way. One will motivate me, the other will no, all my brain hears is fat, right? So we are told that they deliberately keep things vague in their explanation so that they can say, it's all about sustainability. No, but be fucked, it is not about sustainability. This whole climate change myth has been, it's one of the things that pisses me off more than anything, I think. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, well, just on that part alone, they talk about all the sea levels rising and stuff like that. But yet all these elites and all the movie stars and everything have got all these flash houses that right along the beach. You don't see them selling on the beach fronts, the waterfronts.
Yeah.
That you don't see them selling up and moving anytime soon.
No, exactly. Yeah.
It's like what we're talking about and what we're trying to talk about here is that we've been lied on every possible level that you could think of.
Yeah.
And trying to live in a world and decipher our ways through that is bloody hard. And this is, I guess, what we're attempting to do with the podcast is help sort of enlighten that, get people thinking a little more. I imagine a lot of people that are here are already awake to that and are with us. And I guess if you want to contribute to ways that we can help enlighten people, wake people up, make it easier for them, because it's such a bloody rabbit hole and minefield at the moment, maze, all of them. Moving forward, it's like, we just started with one topic this morning, which is the dossier. And we've kind of touched on so many other points, that can just stem off from a simple conversation.
Yeah, maybe we should get more concise.
Well, it's like, trying to
where do you start?
have the podcast. Exactly. It's like, it's like a bloody jigsaw puzzle.
100% it is.
If we pick politics and we end up in health, financial, legal, it's like everything's all interconnected. So no matter what topic that we choose, it's going to branch off into all these other areas because it's all connected.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right, Kimmy. There, it's frequency. And
so I'm not sure who Rebel EO is, but anyway, they've because the topic we started on, right? We're talking about the cartel, the nanny, and the horse. There's speculation afoot that the horse might reside any day. It stems from questions being asked in speculative commentary community, community, that's us guys, following columnist hunch that she'll be out by Christmas. Well, think about that. It's not that far till Christmas. That's good. I'm happy with that.
So
hey, but here's something scary. I'll share this because I don't want to finish on it. What's our time? I'll share this, as I said, because I don't want to finish on it. It is something scary, but we'll finish on something upbeat. But if I go back to this for a second, you guys can see this. Have a watch of this.
To help us identify people who may have been radicalised.
Know the Signs details dozens of indicators that a friend or family member could be planning a terror attack. As Adam Hollingworth reports, the move comes as our spy chiefs identify a new and worrying type of terrorism.
Time was when the intelligence services were never seen, never heard. But now they're loudly proclaiming your country needs you, to keep an eye on those you know, and if necessary, dob them in.
Recognising a potential warning sign and then alerting NZSAS or police could be the vital piece in the puzzle.
Now, where am I? That's not what I wanted. Come back here. What I want you to think about there, alerting the SAS or police. Now, I think there could be these people around, right? They're already in power, so I would be alerting the police against them, personally. But is that what you got? Is that what New Zealanders voted for, Neil?
No, it's not what. Well, you see, it's like drip, 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 drip. What is it? Problem, action, solution. You know, they create the problem and drive the blooming nail into it, and then come up with a solution. And so this whole drip, 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 drip is creating a problem that was never there in the first place.
No, exactly.
Exactly. I mean, I remember growing up as a kid. We knew all the neighborhood. We know everybody in the neighborhood. We got together for Christmas parties. Us kids were out. We went home when the street lights went off. Our parents weren't worried about us.
No, exactly.
And today, when you move into a neighborhood, and if somebody new moved in, everybody would make a cake. We'd all go in and greet them and make them welcome.
Yep.
That's gone. Why is that gone? Somebody crashes a car, so they change a rule. Somebody fell off a bike, so they make helmets. There's just all this drip, 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 which has just confined us down and down and down and down, and suppressed us. And this is what we're up against. So it's like that drip, drip, drip is, and I don't know if you call it. Is it part of neuro-linguistic programming? It's like everybody around us is bad, and we shouldn't talk to them.
We spoke about it yesterday. I think it's Halligan, and it's literally they create a problem, and they scare the shit out of people, and then the people go, "Oh, we need this solution." So they're literally making the victims beg for their own demise. So I want to just go back to this because I want to finish this, but guys.
Ultimately saves lives.
To that end, they're publishing a guide called Know the Signs to help us all identify potential terrorists in our midst.
To pay attention and to be alert so that if they see or hear about something that seems off, that worries them and concerns them, they might have a look at this information to say, does this indicate to me that this person is on the road to actually committing an attack?
The SIS has listed around 50 signs, from obvious ones, like writing on a weapon, as happened in Christchurch, to
a person who is really developing an us versus them worldview.
Authorities say they're usually closely monitoring 40 to 50 potential terrorists. These people used to be motivated by their white identity or by their faith. But in the past 6 months, a third group has emerged, those motivated by politics.
And so it could be the COVID measures that...
See that fire? Let's go back for that for a second. Oh, we went too far. That fire, now I've got it on reasonable authority that wasn't created by the people that were there. That was created by the enforcers that were sent in to infiltrate. And there was a conversation overheard at might have been a Petone pub or somewhere around Wellington. The conversation of the women, the people that were going in to do it. Well, this was all staged. It wasn't the people that were there at the Parliament grounds that did this. So what they're trying to do is demonize the people that are only standing up for what is freaking rightfully theirs anyway. Now, if we think about it, and I'm not a religious person, but I'm going to share this with everyone. I definitely believe in the universe. There's definitely universal power, 100%. We didn't get here by accident, right? There's something beyond what we think we know. I almost lost my train of thought. What were we talking
about? I guess it's the religious side, the spiritual side of the divide, and these guys coming at us from so many different levels to keep us divided. But yeah, it's like it's all part of the Great Awakening, you know. And trying to we're here to talk ourselves to navigate through it with Andrew and I.
Yeah,
and we're here to help.
If I
we can all navigate together. But it's like this. I'm not sure if everybody can see the comments. I mean, I can see them coming up, and there's great comment coming through in the chat, which is brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's definitely like-minded people on this call, and I'm sure at some point it probably might be able to bring them out and share some of their own insights as to moving forward. So
absolutely,
it's
I
like,
remember
wow.
what I was going to say now. I'm not a religious person, but I definitely believe in a universal power, right? And if we think about, if we call that universal power, if we call that power God, there's man, then there's man-made laws, right? So all of this bullshit that's going on around the world, if you know who you are, stand in your power, your true power, and I didn't know that until this year or last year, and I've had some battles of my own there, right? And I'm talking about with the quarantine bullshit that I went through at the start of last year. God, man, man-made laws. Look at the order of that. God, man, man-made laws. That means that you as a man or a woman are above the man-made laws. That doesn't mean you can go out and kill someone or hurt someone, because if we look at God's laws, they are, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill, right? I'm paraphrasing, and do no harm unto others, right? Do unto others as you undo unto yourself. So we think about that. If you're not breaking those rules, if you're not hurting anyone, if you're not taking what's not yours, if you're not killing anyone, you're not committing a crime. All this other shit is just made up bullshit. And that's exactly, if I just come back, I'm not going to play it, but if we come back to this for a second, that's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to make you think, oh, these guys are breaking the law. No, they're not. They're standing up for their God-given rights. And that's what everybody needs to be doing. 100%. Man, not straw man. Exactly, Mick. Yes. Good to see you here, mate. Been a while. Yeah. So Mick's talking about straw man. Maybe we can delve into that a little bit further next week. But we're definitely over the hour now. Hey, but I said I wanted to share we wanted to finish on something positive. So I wanted to share this because I showed this to you before, Neil. I think it's funny. Share the screen. Okay, so there we go. This is the White House tweeted, seniors are getting their biggest increase in their Social Security checks in 10 years through President Biden's leadership. So readers added context to this, so they thought the people might want to know. Seniors will receive a large Social Security benefit increase due to the annual cost of living. Oh, that's an adjustment, right? Which is based upon the inflation rate. President Nixon in 1972 signed into law automatic benefit adjustments tied to the consumer price index. So here's the White House trying to take credit for something that Nixon did in 72. It's probably one of the good things he did do, right? Soon after that was fact-checked by real people and not people that goes against their opinion, that tweet was taken down. They removed it. That's the power we have. And that's the positive we need to finish on.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. There's so much happening at the moment. Oh, wow. What are you grateful for?
What are you grateful for, team? I'm grateful to be here with you, Neil. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful that there's people here watching us. Hopefully we've entertained a few people, maybe even started helping them question a few things. Maybe we've shed some light on a few things, but I'm just grateful to the ability to be able to be here with everyone.
Yeah. Look, and I, you know, I second everything that you say, you know, and just to, you know, it's been a long time. I missed spending some quality time with you, Andrew, you know, to be able to do it here. You know, I guess thanks to modern technology, you know, we can be in the same space, but on different parts of the planet.
Yep.
But yeah, but to embark on a journey that is an awakening journey, and can hopefully, well, it's not hopefully, we will end up in some really, really good places. Yep. And hopefully we're going to help a lot of other people get there too, because we know that there's some tough times coming, and we're going to need to band together, and stay strong and support each other. And coming out on the other side is going to be even more exciting, where we actually get to work in areas around the planet, or even in our local communities, where we can do so much good. And that good is really to go and undo all the bad that's been done over the you know, hundreds of years that we've been basically enslaved. So yeah, end of our first pod. Awesome sort of stuff. We only really start with one topic. We didn't hit the other things we wanted to hit.
Yeah, no.
And you know, by the time we get to the next podcast, you know, who knows what will have transpired on the planet. You know, we will have passed the 8th.
We will have passed the 8th. It will be interesting, the next podcast, won't it? It will be.
Yeah, yeah. We did have a quick discussion yesterday, as the fact that with things happening so fast, that every 7 days that we do this pod might be too far apart, and that we did decide that we're prepared to, if need be, something really important pops up, that we'd go live right and when that needs. So keep your eyes peeled.
Absolutely.
Let's have fun with this.
On that note, guys, if you aren't yet, if you want to make sure that you stay in touch in case we do just happen to impromptu go live, which is very possible, then make sure that you like and subscribe this channel. I will get the Rumble one up in here as well in the description, probably later tonight or early tomorrow, so keep coming back for it. But it's been a pleasure to be here with everyone, and yeah, I think there's still plenty to look forward to. Well, I know there's still plenty to look forward to. We're just getting started. That's something that you used to love saying, but we're getting started in the right way.
But if there's anything, just one thing, and that everybody should have, and hopefully they have, is to make sure that you have the Signal app.
Yes, 100%.
And I'm not sure if we could actually create a link in that for this group as well. That if for some reason or other everything goes off air, that the Signal app, my understanding, is one that is military grade and will always be there for us to communicate. So I've certainly got my family all linked in with it. It's Signal, the Signal app. SIGNAL. Yep, that's the one, Andrew.
Yep, that's the one. Hey guys, I'm also putting in here, please forgive us, there's nothing in there yet, but you certainly can go and join it. And for some reason the artwork won't upload, but I'll get that sorted out. I've just posted the link to the Telegram app. So we'll if we've got things that we're going to bring up, that we could even go live in there from time to time. But if you want to join that, more than welcome to keep in touch with us. We'll share what we see on a daily basis. We'll chuck in there. Most of you probably already see it in different groups here, and anyway, if you're on Telegram. But we'll try and share stuff that's not shared in other places as well. I'll put a link to the dossier in there too. Yeah, cool, good, great to be here with you, mate. It really is, and I'm thoroughly enjoying catching up on a more regular basis. It's been too long. I know there's a lot of people that have said g'day too, so g'day to everyone. I see there Margie and Christine. Good to see us here. Kim changed her name back. I knew it was you, Kim.
Hey, just like I've noticed, there's a number that's been popping up to me for me so much lately when I'm going in and looking bits and pieces. It's the number 17.
Oh yeah.
And the number on our podcast today was 17 for so long. I'm going, wow, that's so cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Just
Speaking
saying.
of which, tell Tyler I want the 17 jersey. I just can't pay for it yet.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Tell her to save it for
awesome
me.
on that. Perfect.
Awesome. All right, guys, great to be here with you. We'll be here same time next week, if not before, but definitely same time next week. So look forward to tuning in. Make sure you get the word out, share it with people. If you've found value in it, then definitely do that. We're going to get better in our presentation. Not that our presentation's wrong, but we'll get more to the point and try and stay on topic. But it's been a pleasure to be here with you guys. Pleasure to be here with you, Neil, and we'll see you all next week. See you guys later.
See you later, everybody.